So let's look at fear of loss. So we are afraid of losing something we have. And next time we're going to look at the endowment effect, where we actually like things better we have possessed. And we're even more afraid of losing them, even things that doesn't matter, like a plastic bottle. I'm more afraid of losing a plastic bottle after I've owned it than before I owned it. So, and we're afraid of losing opportunities as well. And when something is scarce, that's not that many of them, we can easily lose the opportunity. That's the way we think. So let's look into the principle of scarcity. The general scarcity heuristic is that people use an item's availability to judge its quality. If there's only few, if there's only one egg left, but the other eggs over here, there's lots of them left, we think, wow, this must be the good egg, since all the others are gone. And you all know classical economics, microeconomics. So this makes sense. This is valued higher. People assign more value to opportunities when they are less available. Especially uniqueness is interesting here. So how do people use the principle of loss and scarcity? Well, for example, one thing is saying for a limited period, right? This is only for a limited period because if you don't buy it now, you won't have the opportunity later. There's just one single method. And there are all kinds of different, like limited number, deadline, last day, 1 day sales only, right? If you don't come in and buy in our store today, you won't have the opportunity again. It's a 1 day sale. And this is all commercials trying to tap into this kind of principles. So let's look into a few experiments. There was this guy selling wholesale beef. What he did to his customers, and he was a PhD, he wrote a PhD about this. Well, he just said, well, normally I talk to my customers and say, well, we have this, these kind of whole beers at this price and so forth and so forth. But he also had this scarce information. And what he did was, he said, well, we know we have these at this price, X to standard Y, but we also know there's a shortage of Australian beef. That's going to be very likely due to some weather conditions. So this is just saying that there's scarcity. Okay, so maybe you won't be able to get Australian beef in a week or two. Interesting. And then they made a third condition. We're talking about the uniqueness, information you can only get one place. Well, they said, well, we had the standard of scarcity, and they said, well, we have this information because we know somebody inside the Australian Weather Service. This is unique. Other suppliers don't have this information. So what happened? What the number of carloads who actually bought it? For the standard request per customer is around 10 in the standard request. If you said, well, you might not be able to buy next week. Of course, the numbers rise. 24 for scarcity alone, like saying, well, you might not be able to buy it later. People buy more. But if you also say, well, this information is unique. You might not get this information other places. Your competitors might not know this. People buy like almost 6 times as much as in the scarcity, as in the standard appeal. It does actually. The funny thing is, this was actually true. He did know this. It was a unique source. So the ethics was right. So how can you actually apply this in your daily business student life? Well, instead of presenting things as a gain for them, you can actually frame it as a loss. And what they did in this experiment was they gave homeowners a free energy check. And they gave them information how to reduce loss of energy. Though in average, people could actually save around 50 cents a day. So what they did was they gave people 2 kinds of information. Either they told them you can save 50 cents a day, or they framed it as a loss and said, if you fail to implement these improvements, you will lose 50 cents a day. Not much, only a single sentence made different. So, how many improved their house when the message was framed as a loss? A, 50% less. B, 100% more. C, 200% more. C, D, 300% more. How many say A? No one. How many say B? 2, 3. How many say 200% more? 15, 20. How many say 300% more? It was actually 300% more. 300% more people actually carried out the recommended energy improvements when they were framing this as a loss. Just saying, well, you can lose 50 cents every day. Try to count it out. 365 days a year. That's a lot of dollars. You can lose these dollars. So just framing as a loss is very effective. Just changing a single sentence.